confirmation candidates, we're in my office. And I'm doing this video from here just so that we could have a good video and that it would help you in preparing your saint project. You will need this paper that should have been run off for you from the email, the Choosing of a Christian Name Saint Report. Our class on Sunday is all about the Saints Report. All the time I will be spending on Sunday will be a working class to help you with your Saints project. And so if you have this handy, and you need to, we're going to read this together. Many people choose an additional saint's name at confirmation, but the preferred name, however, is the baptismal name. And so, because it expresses the relationship that exists between baptism and confirmation. So don't hesitate. If you love your baptismal name and you like the saint, maybe you don't even know enough about that saint, but you really want to keep that as your confirmation name, you go with it. If your parents say to you, well, how's that going to look if you have Ronald Smith? No, you won't have that on the program. It'll just be Ronald Smith, or if you're Anne Marie, it'll be Anne Marie, and we'll highlight or boldface that confirmation name so people will know that that's your confirmation name and your baptismal name. If you choose another name besides your baptismal name, you'll have your baptismal name, your confirmation name, and your last name. And if the new name is taken, it should be the name of a recognized saint of the Catholic Church. And if the baptismal name is not that of a recognized name, a new name should be chosen for confirmation. For instance, if your name was Skip for baptism, it'd be hard to find a patron saint named Skip. There might be somebody, but we may not have anything in the list of Catholic saints. So you would have to choose another name for your confirmation name. I don't think that's your problem. Names of saints are chosen to serve as patrons and models for those being confirmed. Candidates should choose a patron saint's name not because of the attractiveness of the name, but because of the attractiveness of the Christian life that the person led. Now, it could be both. You like the name and you like what that particular saint did, and that's perfect. But we're really looking for the attractiveness of the saint's life. And you can find out more about your patron saint's life, especially if you're off-site and you don't have the advantage of all the 50-plus books that I'm going to share with you on Sunday. I'm going to bring every book possible with pictures and biographies. You will be able to do all your Saints Project practically on Sunday, except the actual PowerPoint or video if you're choosing to do that. And so I provided a website. You don't want to use websites that only have legends of certain people. You want to use a website like www.catholic.org/saints because it's a good saints Catholic website that will give you an authentic view of that particular saint. You'd write the saint's name and the feast day, and then you'd also put the saint's place of birth if it's known. What aspects of this person's Christian name attracted you? For instance, if you chose Dorothy, you really liked Dorothy's Day's approach to the poor, the fact that she was a journalist, the fact that she put her life together after she made a lot of mistakes, and she really helped people all over the world. And then you would put that's what attracted you to that particular saint. Or if you were taking John the Apostle, well, he was one of the gospel writers. He was the youngest apostle. He was one that really Jesus loved. That was what attracted you to St. John the Apostle. Give at least 2 examples of how you can personally imitate this saint today. Now, whatever saint that is, whether it's your baptismal patron saint or your confirmation saint's name, you want to imitate that saint. That's why you're choosing that particular saint. Oh, because they reached out to the poor. Oh, because they thought more of other people than themselves. Oh, because they had a temper, but they learned how to control it. And there are saints like that. And then you give, all right, the ways you're going to imitate that saint. Then you ask your parents or whoever named you how and why they chose the name given to you at your baptism. You would want to know that, and you might even include it in your video or PowerPoint. And so then you write your first name, confirmation name, and if your confirmation name is your first name, then what you would do is just kind of arrow, and so we know that you've chosen the confirmation name as your baptismal name, and then your last name. Then you turn over the paper, write your name again, and print it. Confirmation, your baptismal name, confirmation name, and last name. Or you can circle your baptismal name and we'll know that that's both. You're going to write a brief biography of the saint, so you're already doing the work that you're going to need to do for your PowerPoint or video or whatever you choose. Why did you choose this saint? I want to know what attracted you to this saint. How will you present your 3-minute saint report in class on April 25th on 2021? For example, you're going to do a video, and shortly you're going to see Michael Brown's St. Patrick video. Or you're going to do a YouTube slideshow or a PowerPoint or artwork like a book, or you're going to dress up and do a dramatization. Now, if I was doing it, I would dress up as the saint, and I would do a soliloquy of my saint. For instance, I'm Dorothy Dale. Let me tell you about my life, okay? But you may choose to do that. But you're going to explain to me what you have planned. And let me show you some of your possibilities. For instance, candidate Sofia Glinsky, she did, now I don't want posters and I don't want trifolds and I don't want any of those written reports, but Sophia, she did a picture of her saint, St. Catherine of Bologna. There's a lot of St. Catherines. And she was attracted by this particular St. Catherine. She drew her, and then she gave her an oral report of her 3-minute report. She memorized everything, or she had it on cards and she read it, so that we also saw a picture of her as saint at the same time. Now, there were some in the past who have done a Saint Cecilia. She did a pop-up book of her saint. And so that was quite clever. Okay, very clever. Or I also had a confirmation candidate who did St. Bridget. And of course she did the Celtic Cross as her cover. And then she gave the real story of St. Bridget with pictures. And this was really a phenomenal work of art, truly. That was outstanding. And of course, when she did her presentation, she held up her book and she read the story of her saint. And she had the microphone obviously in her hand as well. Now, you may decide that you want to do a video. And so you would come over here, and I have that ready to go here for you. And I want you to listen to Michael's voiceover, which is quite clever on his...
St. Patrick of Ireland. St. Patrick is known as the patron saint of Ireland, who was born in Roman Britain in the year 385 AD. He died in 461 AD. The feast day we celebrate St. Patrick's life is March 17th, which is the anniversary of his death. March 17th has been celebrated as St. Patrick's Day for over 1,000 years. At the age of 14, Patrick was kidnapped by a band of Irish pirates, where he was living in Roman Britain. He was brought to Ireland and sold as a slave. As a slave, he was forced to work as a shepherd taking care of the sheep in the fields. Patrick was often cold, hungry, lonely, and afraid. He spent 6 years in isolation. During this time, Patrick began to think about God. He prayed all the time, asking God to help him. One night, he had a dream in which an angel of the Lord told him to leave Ireland he was able to escape on a ship and return home, where later he was ordained a priest and then a bishop. He later returned to Ireland as a missionary to spread Christianity across the country. According to legend, he used a shamrock to explain there can be three divine persons in one God: the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. One of the most popular myths about St. Patrick is he banished all the snakes from Ireland. St. Patrick is one of the best known saints around the world. Many establishments are named after him. Schools and churches. In fact, St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City is the most famous church in the United States. St. Patrick was one of the most inspirational leaders in the history of the Catholic Church. He was known for his strength and faith in God, and it was his deep faith and belief that guided him as he spread Christianity throughout Ireland.
Now you can see what an illustrious report this is. Michael did tremendous amount of work in his research. And if it was a myth, he stated that. If it was a legend, he stated that. So he didn't make facts, legends, or myths. He did very accurate reporting of St. Patrick. And being able to do that and blend it with the over voice as the video was phenomenal. So he can sit, put in his flash drive and sit and enjoy it, and everybody else as well, when it was his time for his presentation. Now this is the ultimate. Now you may say, well, don't think I know technology that well to be able to do this. Or you may say, I think I would like to do a simple PowerPoint, and I have some samples of them as well. Now if you do the simple PowerPoint, you're going to have to read it at us and stand up with the microphone while you have the flash drive in my laptop, and we would be able to watch what you're doing, watch the slides, and of course hear your voice. And so I have one here. I'm looking for, okay. Here's one that you can look at, and this might help you tremendously. We'll start with our slideshow. Okay, she did St. Jane, and then she read that when her feast day was and so forth. And she gave you background information, and she read all of that. And she used a script that was large enough to really emphasize that's really important. If you use a script that's too tiny, even when you project it on a big screen, it doesn't work. This was quite fine. And then her midlife situation and what she fled to Germany, and she founded a school and a hospital and so forth. And she started a congregation of the Institute of the Daughters of St. Paul. And there you have that, the church that she founded, that she became a sister, and she was pronounced a saint in 1934 by Pius XI and so forth. She did a lot of research on this as well. And that was the end of her. Now, this is another one that's done a little differently. Frances McDowell's, this is hers, and maybe I just didn't get this. Let me open the link. And let me see if it's going to come out so that you would be able to. She did St. Rose of Lima. Now, somehow when I hope it's going to come out for us. She did this. Oh, okay. Oh yes, that's it. And then she zoomed in on her life in that way, okay? And then she zoomed on it this way, a picture of it. Oh, another zoom in. Do you see some of the differences of how these were done? It's simple, it's short, but was very clever and very creative. That would be another way of doing it. I'm just giving you these samples because they might help you. So you must know the end result of all the work that you're going to be doing on this paper and the research that you're going to be accumulating so that you'll be able to do whatever way you choose, giving you. So that's only a 3-minute, but it's something you'll always have. And we'll be able to learn of 48 different saints by all the presentations that we're going to be able to see. And so I want to thank you for joining me in my office today with this video, and hopefully it'll help you in your Saints project. I wish that I could feast my eyes on all of you. I'm blessed with most of you, 40 of you, and some that I'm hoping that we'll see in not so long a time. So take care, stay healthy and well, and I wish you every blessing of God.